Welcome to the computer training by Accelerate Computer Systems. Let us learn computer concepts in an easy language. My name is Arun and I will be your trainer today. Today we are going to learn about the very foundation of a computer, the ones and zeros. When I started learning computers, the first thing I heard was that the computers work with ones and zeros. At that time, it was so confusing to me. To me, the things don't make any sense until I see these myself and understand the logic behind it. So at that point of time, I did not understand what it actually meant that the computers, they work with ones and zeros. Having worked for so many years in computers, now I got to know what it actually means. Now I can say that the computers are very logical. There's nothing, no magic happening behind, and there's always a logical explanation to whatever is happening. And that is good because then you can find out why something happens and you always have a reason. And today we are going to start learning about computers by learning about these ones and zeros. And keep in mind that this particular concept is the basic concept and it helps you immensely if you want to learn computers further. So let's just explore. Let's start with the very basic information about computers. You can see the pictures of a desktop, laptop, and phone on the screen. Now, every computing device will have one display and one computing unit with a processor, hard drive, memory, etc. In a desktop, usually the computing unit is separate. A laptop combines both these in one unit, and in a phone, you can see that the computing unit is hidden just behind the display. So it's basically one. There's no difference though in how information is processed, how information is sent across. They all work on the same principle. Now let's try to understand the very basic principle about computers. As I mentioned, this concept is really important for everybody to understand because everything else, including networking, security, programming, etc., they work on the same principle. Let's first have a look at what a computer does. Now, you're working on a computer and are writing a document or playing games or accessing a website. Have you ever wondered how this information is exchanged between computers or shown on the monitor? Initially, I thought that the computer sent an image as it is to other computer or printer, and I was wrong. As I said earlier, computers are very logical, and there's a logic behind everything that happens on a computer. Do you want to know how computers send information and what's the logic behind it? All right, let's go ahead. Do you know it is that you heard just now? If yes, it's great. For those of you who are not familiar with what you heard just now, let me inform you that this is called Morse code. Now, this technology was developed in the 1800s. And you would be surprised that this technology is still in use in ships, for example. This technology works by producing two sounds using the machine that we saw. These sounds are short stroke, which is called a D, and the long stroke, which is called a da. And there are well-defined rules, just like your other grammatical rules, about combination of these two sounds. Take a special note of the gap between each stroke and the line and dot appearing for each letter. These are the codes for each letter. Pay special attention to the gaps between each stroke and gap between code for each other. Now let's listen to it once again. Let us try and understand what we heard just now. This technology works with two sounds, short stroke and long stroke. A specific machine is used for generating these sounds. The short stroke is called a D and the long stroke is called a DA. There are codes for every letter in the alphabet, including special characters like question mark. For letter A, the code is DIDA, which is one short stroke and one long stroke. For letter B, the code is DA DIDID, which means one long stroke followed by 3 short strokes. Similarly, there are specific codes for grammar and punctuation. Do you see that you can send a lot of information by just using a combination of 2 sounds? To be able to make it understandable, it is critical to follow specific gaps between each stroke and each letter and paragraph. You might ask, Morse code is similar to how computers work? How? Why are we learning about Morse code first? The answer is, just like Morse code, that it works with 2 strokes, long and short, computers also work with pulses of electricity, light or radio wave, or the absence of a pulse. So either a pulse is being sent or it's not being sent. Let's have a look at it. In Morse code, we use 2 sounds, D and DA, which technically refers to short and long stroke. Computers work with electricity, light or radio wave or other mediums. The basic principle remains the same. Computers either send a pulse of electricity, radio wave or light, or do not send it. Let's see an example. What you see here is an oscilloscope connected to the keyboard. Oscilloscope can pick up electrical pulses and show them on the screen. Take a note of the lines shown in the blue that go up and down when the user clicks a key on the keyboard. That blue line indicates that the current is being sent over the cable. When the line moves up, it indicates that the current is being sent, and when the line moves down, it means that no current is being sent. You also see the yellow line in waveform just above the blue line. This indicates clocking. We'll talk about this in one of the future videos. Now, the takeaway from this particular slide is just like Morse code, that it works with 2 sounds, long and short stroke. Even computers work with 2 states, electrical pulse and no electrical pulse. The status when electrical pulse is being sent over the cable is called a 1. And the status when there is no electrical pulse on the cable, it is referred to as 0. This is the reason why it is said that the computers work with ones and zeros. We'll be diving deeper into this topic in the next video. You might say, well, okay, now that you understand that the computers work with ones and zeros, which can be achieved by either sending electrical or light pulse or not sending it, how about display or print or storing files in hard drive? How does that work? The answer is that the principle remains the same, the ones and zeros. Just the medium changes. Let me very briefly go over these. Let's have a look at the hard drive. Here's a picture of a hard drive from inside. As you can see, there are 3 platters on which the data is stored. You can see the head at the end of the actuator arm. Every platter, it is coated with a thin layer of magnetic material. When data needs to be written, current flows to the head via actuator arm, generating a magnetic field, and the head either magnetizes the field or does not do anything. If the field is magnetized, it is considered a 1. And if it is not magnetized, it is considered a 0. Similarly, when we look at the printer, we usually see text or picture that we have printed. But even here, the printer is basically told to spray ink at specific location based on dots per inch or DPI. Each dot indicates 1 and the place where no ink is sprayed indicates 0. The images with 300 DPI will be sharper than 72 DPI. So technically the computers always work with ones and zeros. While sending documents, computers use electricity, radio wave or light pulses. The hard drive uses magnetic fields to magnetize and demagnetize to be able to store data. If a field is magnetized, it is considered a 1, and if it is demagnetized, it is considered a 0. Similarly, printers use DPI to define how many dots of ink will be sprayed within 1 inch. If a dot is sprayed on a field, it is considered a 1 and otherwise it is a 0. Alright, today we talked about very basic of computing and how computers work. In the next video, we will build on this and then learn in depth about these ones and zeros. Let me know how you found the training today. Do consider subscribing if you found the video helpful and share it with your friends and family. Accelerate Computer System helps students and startups by providing high-performance Dell laptops and desktops and other computing accessories at very competitive prices starting at just $400. If you want to know more, send an email to the email flashing on your screen. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, happy learning.